Around a month ago, a deeply concerning incident happened on Sergeant Snake's Discord server. 3 newly created accounts joined at the same time, and from the start, they began harassing fans, spamming channels, and showing open support for Pholcidae, a figure already known in the TPT2 community for threats, intimidation, and highly questionable behavior. But what happened next goes far beyond trolling. One of those accounts privately messaged Sergeant Snake with an image that appeared to contain explicit content, something completely inappropriate, especially considering Sergeant is a minor. It didn't stop there. A second account, seemingly linked to the first, followed up with messages that heavily implied the content was meant to be sexual in nature. Taken together, and knowing that Discord automatically blocks or censors graphic material, it's extremely clear what the intent was. What makes this even more disturbing is that one of the accounts had a threat toward a minor in its username, a direct, disturbing reference that violates Discord's rules and basic human decency. Now, since Pholcidae is the main suspect, here are reasons why, however, take into account that this may not be him. So, all 3 accounts were created on the same day, joined the server at the exact same time, and were active during the same window as a known alt-raid by Pholcidae. Sergeant literally said it was Pholcidae. However, he did not deny this. Also, Pholcidae was online at the exact time of the incident, however was idle. Not messaging or doing something, heavily suggesting it may have been him controlling the accounts. Not only this, in a recent stream, one of his alt accounts, which he used to act like a fan, was saying stuff pretty sexual among with other comments and deleted ones. The last point is how Sergeant submitted a copyright request to get his video removed. However, the YouTube team didn't understand the context as a lot of it was from Discord. So they passed it off. Luckily, the video is blocked in Sergeant's country for defamation, proving it fake, too. But you have to put your location down to make a report, so that's maybe how the account got his location. The timing, coordination, and their behavior strongly suggest that these accounts were either controlled by Pholcidae himself or acting under his direction. This is not just some community drama. This is targeted harassment, manipulation, and possibly the distribution of harmful material toward a minor. It crosses into real-world consequences and must be taken seriously by both the platform and the community. Protecting minors from exploitation, threats, and intimidation should be the priority here, not defending someone with a growing history of inappropriate and dangerous behavior. It's important to clarify a few things. While we cannot definitively prove that Pholcidae was directly behind the 3 accounts involved in this incident, the circumstantial evidence is extremely strong. Now, does that absolutely prove he controlled them? Number. But when you take into account the pattern of behavior, the history, the language used, the coordination, and the timing, the logical conclusion is that Pholcidae was either directly behind these accounts or knowingly allowed or encouraged others to act on his behalf. Either way, his responsibility in this situation cannot be ignored. Even if he didn't send the content himself or operate the accounts personally, this didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened in the environment he created, one where harassment, threats, and misinformation were normalized and encouraged. When someone repeatedly targets a minor, spreads false information, threatens lawsuits, and dehumanizes others in public forums, it emboldens others to take things further. That kind of behavior lays the foundation for exactly what happened here. Let's be absolutely clear. This situation involved deeply disturbing content being sent to a minor. One of the accounts had a rape threat in its username, and the language used heavily implied the intent was sexual in nature. Whether Pholcidae pressed send himself or not, this behavior is completely unacceptable. It crosses moral, ethical, and potentially legal boundaries, and needs to be treated with the seriousness it deserves. This video was created not out of malice, but in defense. It's here to raise awareness, protect victims, and call out behavior that puts real people, especially minors, at risk. We do not condone harassment or witch hunts, but we also won't ignore patterns that lead to harm. Silence enables predators. Speaking out is how we stop them.